what's interesting is that we've been able to measure the effects of online advertising directly to sales for a very long time. It's just been expensive in the past. So 10 years ago, we were talking about the fact that we could take one digital impression and match it to a product that's been bought in-store, not just online, but in-store. So the technology and the data has become much more sophisticated, the data has become much more ubiquitous, and now we're much closer to being able to do that at massive scale. I think the implications of that are that we in the marketing services business can start to change our business model, and we can move much more closely to a performance-based model. Not the way performance is sometimes defined in terms of our ability to get great rates in the traditional media markets, but more generating actual sales or test drives based on awareness that we drive online, but also in linear advertising.
So, tell me what your thoughts are about this debate between deterministic and probabilistic.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very operational question, Andy. I would say that, let me just explain what it means. Deterministic is you can actually match one-to-one data with a consumer. So you know that the consumer actually created an action, and you can measure the effects of that. Whether that's ingesting content or interacting with an ad or buying something, and you can match one-to-one, okay, this person actually did this. That's deterministic. Probabilistic is when you take consumers in the first camp and then you model out other people that look like those consumers. And so probabilistic modeling is a way for us to get a much broader reach of consumers and their behaviors. Fact of the matter is, I think there's a lot of debate as to which one's better, and that's not the right question because they're both necessary. In many cases, advertisers have narrow and deep data, meaning they have a lot of deterministic data on their customers. And then our job, within GroupM, is to help them model that so that they have, number one, more information about their own customers, but then they can expand that population and we can amplify their understanding so that they have much broader reach. Well, I mean, in the advertising business, we effectively can't know who anyone is. Consumers have to have what we call a first-party relationship with an entity in order for that entity to know who they are. So when you log into Facebook, you've given them permission to know who you are. In many cases, when you log into Google, you've given them permission to know who you are. As a third party, we're an intermediary between the marketplace with whom we trade and advertisers who we represent in the marketplace. So it's not so much a concern for, obviously privacy laws are a concern to us, and we're very compliant with that. But I think the broader question is, how do you make sure that advertising is relevant without being obtrusive, without being creepy to consumers? And of course, we follow every privacy law in every market in which we do business, but I think that's the balance we have to strike, is making sure that advertising and content is relevant without encroaching on any laws, but of course being consumer friendly. That's really the issue. First, we used to do channel allocation, determine how you split up a budget between channels, meaning offline, digital, etc. And then within those channels, we would optimize. So we'd then figure out, okay, within linear TV, for example, what is the programming that we will buy, and then how do we optimize that over time? Same with search or display or online video. Now we plan in a much more real-time way, where we're first identifying who the audience is, and then based on that audience, we're putting together a media plan and an activation plan that is based on where that audience is, what devices they're on and what channels they're interacting with, and then we optimize that in real time. So it's going from a place where we had sort of third-party data as a proxy for where that audience might be to actually knowing where the audience is now, and that has fundamentally changed our planning process and our activation process. We're aggressively changing our organizational structure. We're aggressively changing how we service clients. The principle is that we want to make it very easy to do business with GroupM and our agencies, and we have to be data and technology led in everything we do. So our job is to make sure that we plan based on audiences, and that's behind our investment in M Platform, which, although we've launched M Platform in November of last year. That technology we've been developing for 10 years, and that was a big part of my role within Xaxis, was developing a platform to buy against audiences instead of buying against content. So I would say our first big change is that we are re-platforming our agencies so that all of them are planning and activating based on real-time audience data that we have in M-Platform. We're also just making it simpler to do business with us. So for example, we're combining MEC and Maxis into one global network instead of having two separate networks. And that makes us more efficient, it reduces duplicative infrastructure, and it broadens our network and makes that individual company have the scale it needs in terms of being a global business. So I think what you're seeing from us is we're data-led, we're investing in technology, we're investing in data, and we're trying to simplify our structure so that it's very easy for clients to work with our agencies.